Previously, we've talked about middle managers and what exactly is their function there. Because it seems like many middle managers are really just there to regurgitate what they're told by the vice presidents, by the C-levels, by people above them to their different worker bees. And it seems like their main job is just to keep their thumb down on the hardworking employees at an organization. And it doesn't seem like they really have much say in the company. It doesn't seem like they really make any real decisions. They're really just stuck in the middle. They are the conduit of information to the average workers and the average people working there. And really, if you've had a bad middle manager, you would mostly think that their job is to make your life a living hell. So it's interesting to hear from a company like HSBC that we're going to talk about today that one of the first things they're doing after a recent shakeup is to lay off middle managers as a way to cut expenses, which makes sense because middle managers make a lot of money. But usually corporations, when they're trying to quote unquote cut costs, they don't do things that could actually cut costs. They go and they let go of people with the lowest salaries, the people who just started working there, and really it doesn't make a whole lot of sense when they could just let go of one executive and maybe spare the jobs of 10 to 15 people, if not more. So I want to go over with you what's going on with HSBC lately, why they are deciding to get rid of middle managers, and let's just see what's going on in general with the organization. I have two different articles to go over with you today, and let's see what we can learn about HSBC. Let's dive in. Our first article today is from Yahoo Finance, and the headline is, HSBC's next CEO plans to trim middle management to save cost. And as always, the articles I reference are down in the description below if you want to read them in full. I'm just going to go over the highlights and how they pertain to our discussion today. HSBC's incoming Chief Executive Officer is considering a significant organizational transformation intended to streamline the company's operations, according to a Bloomberg report. After taking over as the new CEO on September 2nd, he will move plans that could include cutting layers of middle management and reducing the number of country heads across HSBC's global footprint. The approach is similar to the approach followed by other banks, including Barclays PLC BCS and Standard Chartered PLC SCBFF, which have framed middle management as part of the larger cost-cutting programs. In May 2024, BCS commenced job cuts across investment banking and research division per people familiar with the matter. This move aligns with BCS's £2 billion cost-cutting program to boost profitability. In June 2023, Standard Chartered started laying off employees in Singapore, Hong Kong, and London to reduce costs by more than $1 billion between 2022 and 2024. As the Federal Reserve begins to cut interest rates starting next month, banks might face a reduction in profit margins. Thus, to optimize profit, HSBC is taking cost reduction measures like these. According to some sources, the bank has slowed down its hiring process and is not rushing to replace staff who have left or resigned in recent months. HSBC has been actively restructuring its operations to further improve operating efficiency. HSBC's restructuring efforts have already resulted in the bank exiting non-core regions such as France and Canada, as well as reducing its presence in South Africa. These actions are consistent with the bank's shift towards its core growth regions in Asia, where it seems a higher potential for long-term returns. In 2022, the company announced its transformation plan to reshape underperforming businesses, simplify complex organizations, and reduce costs. The company realized gross savings of $5.6 billion, with a cost to achieve a spend of $6.5 billion by 2022's end. It expects to achieve additional cost savings this year, driven by the actions undertaken in 2023. The same year, under the leadership of current CEO, HSBC initiated a significant restructuring plan that included cutting down 35,000 jobs to adapt to the challenging economic conditions brought on by the pandemic. In April 2024, HSBC laid off about a dozen bankers from its investment banking division in Asia as part of its broader efforts to optimize operations and focus resources on more profitable areas. The CEO's plans to further reduce middle management layers might indicate a continuation of the previous strategy, which aligns the bank's operational structure with its global focus. Yahoo Finance's views on trimming middle management from HSBC are: the idea of cutting back on middle management is indicative of a broader trend in the banking sector amid economic pressure. By reducing middle management, HSBC can reduce costs, expedite decision making, and offer lower level salary more authority. Yeah, that's an interesting way to look at it, right? If most people think that middle managers are just getting paid to really not do much and kind of make things a little bit more difficult because the lower level people can never talk to the people higher on the food chain than they are, then I mean, theoretically, it could make things a lot more efficient. Now, is that the main reason? No. I mean, they've already said that it's just a way to cut more costs because, the middle manager is going to be paid more. But yeah, it could be a good opportunity for people lower on the food chain to get more authority, to rub elbows with people higher up on the food chain than them. So could work out for the people who stay. While cutting middle management can lead to immediate cost savings, it often opens room for significant challenges. Removing the middle management layer without proper restructuring could lead to creating leadership gaps and reducing employee engagement. Considering this, HSBC must strike a cautious balance between reducing costs and preserving the leadership and operational strength required for long-term growth. In the past 6 months, shares of HSBC on the New York Stock Exchange have gained 12.8%, underperforming the industry's growth of 13.7%. Our next article is from Reuters, and the headline is, HSBC Wealth Chief leaves as new CEO shakes up the team. And it says that the Wealth and Personal Banking Chief is leaving the Asia-focused bank, one of several significant changes in its leadership on the eve of the new CEO. While Wealth and Commercial Banking each accounted for about 38% of the bank's pre-tax profit in its first half, the wealth business that the new Wealth and Personal Banking Chief will take over is at the heart of HSBC's strategy to grow fee-based income. HSBC's other sources of revenue from lending is set to fall in step with cuts to global interest rates. With an internal successor, the new CEO is seeking continuity rather than a major overhaul of the wealth business. I suspect that George will want HSBC to look like a swan over the next 5 years. Stability at the top, but lots of activity under the water. Ben Toms, analyst at RBC Capital Markets, told Reuters. Unfortunately, stability at the top probably means lack of short-term opportunity for the ambitious, high-quality management who are one rung down. This morning's news is probably a reflection of this construct. A spokesperson for HSBC declined comment on whether the former Wealth and Personal Banking Chief would receive a payout. I mean, can you let go of a C-level person at your publicly traded organization and not pay them out a huge buyout? I don't even know if that's possible. And I guess the fact that they declined to comment probably means that they're going to be making a big payout to them. And this article does a great job of breaking down all the new leadership and all the shakeups and all the people involved. So definitely check that out if you're interested in all that. But I just want to go over the gist of what's happening here. The London-based bank has been exploring financial incentives and reallocating key projects to retain internal candidates who missed out on the top job, with some shareholders concerned the CEO appointment would trigger more management upheaval, Reuters reported last month before the new CEO was appointed. Besides navigating escalating geopolitics and an unpredictable rate environment, the changes unveiled on Thursday leave the new CEO with 3 major roles to fill early in his tenure. The new CEO's successor at CFO takes on his job on September 2nd as interim and as Global Banking and Markets Chief Operating Officer Susie White, who has been appointed GCOO while a formal recruitment process is carried out. In this interim capacity, White will attend HSBC's Global Executive Committee, but will not be a member. Many organizations are struggling, And as today's article pointed out, it's even happening on a global scale with companies that do big business even outside of the USA. But it is at least good news to see that some companies are doing shakeups. Not every company is like Intel that just says we're perfectly fine. This new CEO is running things into the ground, but that's okay. We're not worried about it. So if things are not going well, you need to have a switch up. You need to have a change in leadership. So at least companies like HSBC are trying something. And then if you're really concerned about cutting costs, getting rid of middle managers as opposed to every lower level worker bee that you can makes good financial sense. So we'll see what the future of HSBC is, but this news could really turn things around. It might not do anything, but it could definitely turn things around because at least they're trying some different things, cutting costs in places that make sense and shaking up things at the top with a hope to do a lot better in the future. Do you know of any other company going through massive layoffs right now or making major changes at the top? Let me know down in the comments below, and I'll see if I can find some articles and do an episode about that in the future. Thanks for watching this video. Talk to you later.